Okay, so let me just make sure I look right. Okay, so today's video is going to be about, let me move this, hold on, I like that right there. Okay. So today's video I am going to talk about a very touchy topic for me, is that I basically, so I don't know where to start. We'll just get right, like, straight to the point because I don't want to make it too long. But I attended this art school, and I'm not gonna name it, but if you know me, you know where I went. If you find a picture of me holding a degree, the name is on the degree. Okay, so I went to this school. It was considered an art school, and I was studying fashion marketing. So at the time, back in, like, I think it was 2011 is when I started going there. Yeah, it was in 2011. At that time, for many different reasons, I decided to stay in Arizona to basically, I decided to stay here in Arizona to go to school instead of what a sane person would do when they want to study fashion, is go to LA, go to New York, go to London, Paris, go somewhere outside of Arizona, but we won't go down that road. I've been down that road many times. It's very emotional. But so I decided to stay here, go to the school out here, and it had a fashion program. And at the time, they didn't have fashion design. Back in 2011, there weren't options like they are nowadays. Nowadays, you have a lot of options. Even at a community college now offer fashion programs. But back then, this was like 9 years ago, there weren't any options but this school. So there I was with, stars in my eyes, and very, I guess, a dream. I don't want to say naive, because of course when you're young, you are naive. Like, you don't know everything. But a big part of this was that I was very unaware of adulthood. As well as I didn't really know how finances worked. Going to college, I just was like, yeah, I'll pay it back. I'm gonna get a job, so I'm gonna pay it back. Like, no big deal. I never really felt like my circumstances were like going to prevent me from being successful. I don't know, I just really felt unstoppable, and that was like what got me through. It was less than 4 years, so it was like 3.5 years that I went to this program. Yeah, so like 3.5 years, and I really had no idea that I was signing my life away. I could look back, I went through all the emotions over the years that have passed since I finished my undergrad and moved on to grad school as well. But I think I really just had that one goal in mind, was that I was going to work in the fashion industry. I was going to get a job in the fashion industry, and nothing and nobody was going to stop me or get in my way. And I just think that, that mindset I had, nobody could tell me different. And although there were some people who were very unsupportive of my choice in school, as well as my choice in career, I never really got support. I was always told, I need to get a real job, I need to get into a real field, get into the medical field, go into banking, go into just something else, not fashion. And I was just like in my head like, no, like I'm gonna study fashion, I'm gonna be something, somebody. And I really had no idea. You know, you don't know the future, what the future is gonna come to. But I would say with this school, they really did scam me. And I would only say they scammed me because they kind of hyped themselves up to be well connected within the industry, that they had connections. Most importantly, what they advertised, the biggest part of it is their job connection, is that you do your program. And I had amazing teachers. I had some bad ones, but I had some really amazing teachers who made me love fashion, made me love the program. And I had some horrible teachers where I was just like, how the hell are you a teacher? Like, not everybody's meant to be a teacher. One of the things, the harsh lessons that I learned with going to that school was that they were not accredited. So their credits meant nothing as far as like if you transferred. And I think the hardest take was that their credits didn't even transfer amongst locations. So this was a school that was throughout the US. There were several different locations. They offered tons of different programs across the US. And I had really considered at one point in time moving to Texas to live with my family in Texas. And then I found out that my credits from this school here in Phoenix wouldn't transfer over to the ones in Texas. Some, not all. And it's like, that really like blew my mind at that point. Like, what do you mean? Like, the credits, and that's important. It's so important. Like, the credits don't hold no weight anywhere else but in that program, in that school. And once I found that out, because I was kind of midway through, and mind you, this school was very expensive. And I'm talking, I want to say the program, including all the fees, labs, like everything, this school was very, very, it was very expensive. I want to say it was around $80,000. I honestly don't remember. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot to take on at a young age, and have basically, like, I come from nothing, and to take that on at such a young age, it blows my mind now. Like, I wish I could be like, go back to 18-year-old me and just be like, no, sweetheart, like, don't do it. But there's nothing we can do about the past. So this school, you learned a lot. I'll credit it that. I learned a lot, and I made some really good friends, and you make connections. It's all about networking. At the end of the day, unlike most industries, it's all about networking. But when a school that you're paying for, you're giving them money, you're signing your life away, promises you network connections, and that they hold like these portfolio shows. Basically, at the end of your program, you do a portfolio show, and that is going to be like how you're selling yourself, and that's how you're going to get a job. But that did not happen for my portfolio show. It was literally just my friends and family who showed up to my portfolio show, and I put in so much work. I mean, work, man hours, money. I put in money to that portfolio show. You had to print, and this was back then, okay? So you had to print resumes, business cards. I bought USB sticks, put my resume and digital portfolio on there. I printed out portfolio like mini books, and I had a whole backdrop and everything. I put in so much of myself into that, and it was the biggest letdown. It was literally so disappointing that I cried over it for a long time, because I felt robbed. I felt like they robbed me. Like, they just straight up lied about everything that they can offer. It just felt like a lie. And I won't name the school, but they're no longer like in business here in Phoenix, but they're still open other places. And I just really feel like at the end of the day, like, it felt like, I don't want to accuse anybody, but it did just feel like they were just signing you up because they needed the numbers. Like, you know, there was rumors that basically recruitment was commission based, and it was based off the amount of people that you got to enroll. And so I just felt like I was just another number there that they really just took advantage of. And so one thing is that, and it wasn't just me who was going through it, but it was like other people that I went to school with, where they could not find jobs. Like that degree, that school just didn't have, it meant nothing. It was like, how can you pay almost double what I would have paid, triple what I would have paid at ASU? And ASU, although it's a party school, it could get me a job. Or I could have went to anywhere else and paid a lot less money and my degree hold some sort of weight. So a lot of the issue was that we would get like, we had like, I don't know what their position, who these people were, I forget what they were called, it's been so long, but they were supposed to send us jobs, right? Like, they're supposed to send us industry jobs for us to apply for. And I remember like looking at the jobs that they're sending us, and it's like nothing art related, graphic design, nothing marketing, nothing in fashion, nothing. These are jobs I could have found on Craigslist at that time, when Craigslist was where you went to look for a job. I could have found it on my own, because it was like UPS. It was like these random CenturyLink or something, some call center job. And I just felt so, like, I cried and cried for years. I cried for years because I would apply for jobs, and this is the one thing that I'll say about the fashion industry, it's fucking bullshit. Because there would be like job fairs, and you had to pay to apply for jobs. So there would be like websites where it'd be like, you know, if you want your resume at the top, you know, pay this fee, and you know, whatever. And it just felt like it was so, I don't want to cry today, but it's getting emotional here. So it just felt like I wasted years of my life at a school who could not live up to their promise. And I just decided to like try off on my own. And the one thing is that working in retail, to me, being a sales associate is not working in fashion. And I just really felt like I was getting stuck in that position of a sales associate. Like, I don't want to be on the sales floor. I'm not trying to sell this clothes. And that was all I could get. That's all I could get. I tried something else, like, well, you don't have the years of experience. And it's like, well, I went to school for this. What do you mean? Like, I had that struggle. I don't know. I wouldn't sit here and say I'm the only one who had that struggle. But when you come from the bottom, and I'll be completely honest, because a lot of people like to live these, you know, fake personas. Like, I literally come from the bottom of the bottom. And I have no connections. I had hardly any support. I didn't even have a stable living situation. I was working 2 jobs and being a full-time student to make this dream happen. So when it kind of like felt like it blew up in my face, I was so devastated. I was just like, I couldn't for years get it through my head. And So I moved on and I let go of the fashion dream. I don't know if one day maybe I'll go back to that, but I feel like that school really crushed my dream, because you pay so much and you work. I worked so hard and I had very little money, so of course my projects, and I was working 2 jobs, so of course everything was never to the standard of what I wanted it to be, but I was trying my best to do what I could with what I had, and I gave it my all, and I felt so scammed. I felt so scammed from that school that even to this day I kind of like, I don't even have my degree hung up. I have it like tucked away. I don't even, sometimes I like look back at like my memories on like Facebook or whatever that pop up from those times, and I'm just like, oh, I can't believe I did this. But it's a lesson learned, a hard one. I'm still learning. I'm still learning it till this day. Till this day, I still go through the motions, because obviously, like, I don't work in fashion. I love fashion so much. I love it. If you can't tell by the amount of hauls I do, the shoes that I buy, and that's what was my main inspiration. My main inspiration was that I've always wanted to work for Nike, Adidas. I wanted to work in shoes, and I just felt like I went about it the wrong way. For a really long time I felt that way. Who's to say in the future if things don't change for me and kind of go back into that direction. I did thankfully get out of retail. I don't work in fashion. I work in a different industry, but I still try to you know, I don't know, I still try to put my dreams to life. As far as, I go like that a lot, as far as like fashion, I still try to make the best of you know, of it. I never stopped loving fashion. I never stopped wanting to work in fashion. I just kind of put it to rest for a while because I felt like I was just running in circles. So definitely anybody who's wanting to work in fashion, I would say go to a very well-named school if you're going to want to go to school. If not, be an apprentice somewhere. Find somebody who will teach you the ins and outs. But don't go to a school that promises you job placement or promises connections. Like, it's really all about who you know. I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. Look, just don't be me, okay? Maybe have a trade while you work and become in fashion, because honey, it's tough out here. But let me know, have you ever been scammed? Have you ever had your dreams crushed? I hope not. It's really sad. I'm getting emotional here, so I'm gonna stop here, gather myself, and I'll see y'all next time.